Good morning, students. I welcome you all to the second session of lesson number 7, Control and Coordination. So, students, in the previous session, we have learnt about the structure of a neuron, and there we discussed about the different type of nervous system as the central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and the autonomic nervous system. So, today we will deal in detail about the central nervous system. Now, the central nervous system. Now, the central nervous system is composed of brain and spinal cord. Now, brain controls the functions in the human body. That means all the activities of the human body is controlled by the brain. Okay. So, central nervous system is made up of brain and spinal cord, and brain controls all the activities of the human body. Then what does the spinal cord do? Now brain is controlling all the activities of the human body. So it is pressurized all the time. So it requires a manager. And who is the manager to the brain? And the manager to the brain is nothing but your spinal cord. So the spinal cord acts as a relay center for signals between the brain and the peripheral nervous system. Peripheral as the name suggests is towards the outer side, whereas the central nervous system is in the center. So there should be a connection between the periphery of the body and the center of the body. And who is responsible for connecting it? It is nothing but the spinal cord. So spinal cord forms a relay center between the peripheral nervous system and the brain. Okay. Now let us study the structure of human brain. Now human brain is a highly complex organ, and it is composed of billion number of neurons. It is a coordinating center of the body. Now, as such, the area of the brain is quite huge, but it is located in a bony box which is called as a cranium. So, to accommodate the brain in a small bony box, what is done? The brain is folded. Okay, so the brain is highly folded and accommodated in a bony box which is called as a cranium. So here I will just enlarge this diagram. So can you see this, students? Can you see the cranium here? Now this is nothing but the bony covering which is called as a cranium. So cranium forms the outermost bony covering of the brain. Can you see here? These are the foldings in the brain, because I told you the brain has got a bigger area as compared to that of the cranium. So it needs to be folded and accommodated inside the cranium. Now let's move to the next slide now. Now inner to the cranium, the brain is protected by membranous covering, and this membranous coverings are called as meninges. There are 3 meninges. Now in between this meninges, there is presence of a fluid which is called as the cerebrospinal fluid. There is presence of a fluid between the meninges which is called as the cerebrospinal fluid. Now this cerebrospinal fluid provides a cushion to the brain and protects the brain from mechanical shock. So I will just enlarge and I will show you where is the meninges present. Students, you can see the outermost one which is named as cranium. Now inner to the cranium, can you see the orange colored lining? That orange colored lining is nothing but the meninges. What are meninges? The membranous covering over the brain are called as the meninges, or there are 3 membranous covering. And in between this membranous covering, there is a presence of fluid called as the cerebrospinal fluid, which protects the brain from mechanical shocks. It acts as a cushion to the brain. Okay, is it clear regarding the protection of brain? Let's move to the next slide. Now, for the convenience of our studies, we divide the brain into 3 parts as forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. So here I will just magnify and you can see. Students, can you see the 3 parts of the brain? I have received the orange colored one is the forebrain, the red colored one is the midbrain, and the yellow colored one is the hindbrain. So brain is divisible into 3 parts as forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Again the forebrain is divisible into the following parts. So I will just tell you which are the following parts. Forebrain is again divisible into three parts as cerebrum, hypothalamus and olfactory lobes. Cerebrum, hypothalamus and olfactory lobes. Whereas the midbrain, it is a very small part of the brain and it has got the optic and auditory centers. Whereas the hindbrain consists of cerebellum, pons and medulla oblongata. Now we will deal in detail about the forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Now cerebrum is well developed in case of human beings. Okay, that is the main reason we say the human beings are wise. He is the wisest animal. Okay, now that is because the cerebrum is highly developed. Now the cerebrum here, I just enlarge here this. Can you see the cerebrum here? Can you see the cerebrum? Can you see the foldings in the cerebrum? Here the foldings in the cerebrum is because, as I told you, the area is large and the space available is less. Now here the cerebrum is divisible into four lobes, as this one is the frontal lobe. Okay, this is called as the parietal lobe, this is the occipital lobe and this is the temporal lobe. So cerebrum is divisible into four lobes as the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe and the temporal lobe. Now the frontal lobe controls the speech and muscular activities, whereas the parietal lobe controls touch, sensation of touch, smell and temperature. The occipital lobe controls the sensation of vision and auditory, and the temporal lobe is responsible for receiving the auditory signals. So there are four lobes and these four lobes control different functions. Now in addition to this, cerebrum still carries out certain activities, like you can see here in the center, this is the cerebrum. Now the cerebrum is responsible for intelligence. It is responsible for emotions. You can see it is responsible for emotion. It is the center of learning. It is responsible for thinking. It is responsible for analyzing a particular data. It is responsible for reasoning. It is responsible for memory. All these are nothing but the function of cerebrum. Okay, so cerebrum is responsible for intelligence, emotions, learning, thinking, analyzing, reasoning and storing of memories. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. So now we have completed the biggest part of the forebrain and that was nothing but cerebrum. Now we will study the next part and that is nothing but hypothalamus. Okay, so I will just enlarge the diagram and I show you where is the hypothalamus present. Students, can you see this is the hypothalamus? I still enlarge it. Yeah. Can you see this is the hypothalamus? Now below the hypothalamus, can you see the structure which is hanging? And that hanging structure is nothing but the pituitary gland. Now the pituitary gland is called as the master endocrine gland. Now this master endocrine gland is controlled by the hypothalamus, which is nothing but the part of your forebrain. Now in addition to it, the hypothalamus has got different centers like that of the thirst center, hunger center, sleep-wake center, sleep-wake cycle. You sleep at a particular time, you get up at a particular time. So that is nothing but your sleep-wake cycle. And the temperature regulation of the body is carried out by hypothalamus. Now let's come to the third part of the forebrain. And the third part of the forebrain is the olfactory lobes. Now the olfactory lobes cannot be seen in this diagram because the olfactory lobes is present at the base of the brain. It is present at the base. So if you draw the diagram of the base of the brain, then only you can see the olfactory lobes. As the name itself suggests, last time we have done olfactoreceptors. So olfactory lobes, it is present at the bottom side of the brain and it controls the sensation of smell. So students, we have completed with the forebrain And what are the four parts of the forebrain? Forebrain is divisible into three parts as cerebrum, hypothalamus and olfactory lobes. So we saw the position of all these three parts. At the same time we studied the functions. Now let's go to the next part. Now in the next part, students, we are studying the midbrain. Now as I mentioned to you that the midbrain is the smallest part of the brain and it processes the auditory and visual information. It processes the auditory and visual information. I will enlarge the diagram and I show you. So this part is nothing but your midbrain. Now in this midbrain there are auditory centers as well as visual centers which process the information of what you see and what you hear. Is it clear? Now let's come to the next part of the brain, and that is nothing but hindbrain. Now hindbrain consists of cerebellum, pons and medulla oblongata. Cerebellum, pons and medulla oblongata. Now let's start with cerebellum. Now cerebellum is the second largest part of the brain. The first largest part of the brain was cerebrum. Now the second largest part of the brain is the cerebellum. Now cerebellum, it coordinates the voluntary movements. I hope all of you remember what are the voluntary movements. As I told in the previous session, the voluntary organs or the voluntary movements are the movements which are under the control of our will. You call it as voluntary movements. Okay. Now it helps in maintaining posture and body balance. Now let's go to the next slide now. So you can see, students, you can see the cerebellum here. Can you see the cerebellum here? This part of the brain is nothing but your cerebellum. This part of the brain is your cerebellum. It is responsible for maintaining posture and balance of our body. Okay. The second part of the hindbrain, and that is the pons. The pons is responsible for regulating the vital activity of our body, and what is one of the vital activity? That is nothing but respiration. So pons, it is responsible for regulating respiration. I will enlarge and I will show you the location of pons. So this is the place where the pons is present. Can you see? This is the pons. This area is the pons, and it regulates respiration. Now let's come to the last part of the hindbrain, and the last part of the hindbrain we are going to study about medulla oblongata. Now the medulla or the medulla oblongata controls various involuntary functions, like it has got the centers for vomiting, the heartbeat center, and it has the respiratory center. It has the center which regulates your blood pressure. So that means a large number of vital activities, vital means very important activities, are controlled by the medulla oblongata. Now because the medulla oblongata controls such vital activities of our body, injury to the medulla oblongata causes instantaneous death. That means the death will take place at that very moment if the person has an injury to the medulla oblongata. So in the diagram I will show you the medulla oblongata. Students, this is nothing but your this region is your medulla oblongata. So now we have completed all the three parts of your hindbrain. Hindbrain is made up of three parts as what? Cerebellum, pons and medulla oblongata. Is it clear to you, students, about the three different parts of the brain as forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain? Let's move on to the next slide. So we have completed with brain. We have studied the different parts. So first of all, we classified the brain into three parts as forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. And then we went to do the details of the forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Now let us see the next part of the central nervous system, and that is nothing but the spinal cord. Okay. For that, just have a look at the diagram here. Now, so this is your brain. Now the brain is continuing down as the spinal cord, and I told you the relationship between the brain and spinal cord. So, and you can see how the spinal cord is connected to your peripheral nervous system, because as I mentioned before, the spinal cord is a relay center between the brain and the peripheral nervous system. Okay. So now let's move on to spinal cord. The medulla oblongata continues down as spinal cord. Now the spinal cord is also protected by a bony covering which is called as a vertebral column. Now students, you know that the brain is protected by a bony covering which is called as a cranium. Brain is protected by cranium. The same way we have to provide protection to the spinal cord. So the spinal cord is protected by a bony covering which is called as a vertebral column. Now in addition to the vertebral column, which is a bony covering, again the spinal cord is also covered by three membranous covering which is called as a meninges. And in between the meninges, here also there is presence of a fluid called as a cerebrospinal fluid, and the function remains the same. Okay. So students, today we have completed with your central nervous system. That is nothing but brain and the spinal cord. Now I have some assignment questions for you. So now let us look into the assignment questions. Draw a neat label diagram of brain. Explain the parts and functions of forebrain. Next, explain the parts and functions of hindbrain. Students, that's all for today. Thank you.